Friends, how are you today? This is Susan of Susaninspired, and I'm really excited to be here with you and to talk about the energies, this energy right here of this funky, wild energy on the chart. Really unusual looking. And the really interesting thing about it is this. Look, it goes from about 4 Hertz all the way up here. This thing's about 20 Hertz. That's about 26 Hertz. And then all the way up here into the 30s. Okay, that's about 32. And then through the 40s, up to 40. And it looks like into the 40s with the way the energy is here. But the really interesting thing is you have this lighting up at so many of the Hertz levels. And what it says to me, it's almost like, let me put this here, we're alert, awake, aware across like every major set of brain waves, because the Schumann resonance mirrors human brain waves, and there are, several sets of them that have particular characteristics: delta, alpha, beta, and then there's low, mid, high, gamma. So every single one of these areas, with the exception of the unconscious here, although they're still white there, every one has major energy highlighted at that level. And I just thought that that was phenomenal. And so how I take this is we are paying attention. We're alert, we're awake, we're aware. And there's full alertness, full awareness across the brainwave spectrums. Now, this is really interesting. See here? See these 2 verticals here? It's like there was a gateway and this energy just came through, and see, it cleared the deck, because there was, before it showed up in the chart, look what happened. See, the energy's been up here to about 15 Hertz. There's been a big shift in energy on the chart, and I'm going to explain that in a different medium on video or an article. But you can see another shift here preparing. It's almost like it clears the deck for this to come in. What happens is, boom, deck clears. This stops, okay? And then you get the clearness. You get 1 0 to 40 Hertz, 2 0 to 40 Hertz, and then bam, it's almost like it just comes straight through the gateway. And these gateway, what I'm calling the gateway energies, these verticals, if you take a look at them, they are what I call, and my girlfriend Alex and I chatted all about this today, but you see all the different colors on them, the full spectrum. I call this like the jewel energy. It's got a divine, very divine feeling to it. And you can see all the bright colors on, like, let's just focus on one of them. You've got this super bright green, gorgeous blues, and then into the, look at the shiny blue there, that really stands out. And it always feels like this is a very natural energy, a very cosmic energy, a divine expanded energy. It's some kind of transmission, like from us, from our own soul to us. So that's what I'm saying, is that something special happened for humanity, for us. And then, bam, we just get this boom of confidence. And I want to show you that on the numbers of the chart, okay? So right here, okay, so here, I've been looking at this in great detail. So first, the green frequencies, and in my view, green represents humanity. You see they rose up here, and there's something really interesting about this. I'm going to go into that detail in the next video. But you see they rose up, and right here, they are over 20, they're between 25.4 or 5 and 25.9-ish. And so this is strong in my view. I would call this strong. And what I usually say is that we get more confident over 25.2. Then we got kind of like the devil's horns here in red. That was really weird. You don't see, in general, you don't see red pop up like this during a big wave. So I thought that was really weird and interesting. it could be that our passion rises for humanity, because not only does this, in my view, reflect deeper, darker, in the red, denser emotions, but it can reflect our true passion when we're really connected with the truth within us, and it's just flowing. You're in the zone. That's how I felt all day. I have been so energized all day from this. So then we've got the yellow. It dipped, okay, from highs. That's normal. We got the white. It dipped from highs. That's normal during a big wave like this. So what you can see here is that the real expansion comes in the white, which I interpret as like divine support, expanded consciousness, higher frequencies. And then the yellow, which I interpret as the astral, the non-physical closest to the human, our thoughts, our emotions, our dreams, other energy or information in the non-physical. And so all of that was affected. And it's just, this is weird. And I'm going to address this in a new video, but that's not going to come out till tomorrow. Okay, so till Wednesday. Okay, so this was phenomenal. Green at 61. Whoa. Okay, this is wild. It's I'm trying to do math in my head. It's like 2.5 times, okay, the strength of yellow. It is also 2.5 or 2.3, whatever, times the strength of white. Okay, you never see this. It's higher than red, Green is higher than red by double, almost. And this is very unusual. So what this says to me, in my view, green representing the state of humanity on Earth, is power to the green. We are the movers here. You might be being told, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, that's going to happen. No, unless we want it from the level of the soul, it does not occur. That's what the chart says. That's what these energies, that's what I'm interpreting in these energies. It's the power and the strength of the human connected with our divine source that's it. Nothing else can stand. And what we very well may be seeing, look at this. It's almost like I just totally saw that the red is like giving an FU to the rest of, to the green here. Can you see it? It's like it raised up its middle finger. In the USA, that's what that means. The middle finger means, F you guys, And so that's the red gives us an FU. It cannot beat the power of green. Why? Because green has the backing of divinity. Okay? The white is what expanded. Now, if we use red to represent the forces of darkness, and, i.e. represented by the devil horns here in the red chart, I'm joking, but it's also true, okay? I don't know how this rose up. That's extraordinarily unusual. But it could also be that the light is being brought to hidden things and to the actions of dark intent in the world that have been performed in the world. That could possibly cause this to spike. I'm just thinking, okay? But you see that the action is really here in the green, which strengthens, right? The green strengthens. It's just really, really strange. And, red, when it's been at a power position, it's really been up here, okay? And let's see, what was it at when it spiked? It did spike to its power numbers from about, in the low 20s. This is a power area for the red, but it didn't hold. So when the agendas of propaganda, the agendas of narrative, the agendas of global control, when those have been strong, you've seen the red line just like bam, straight across for hours and hours and hours. I do not consent. Okay, so I'm just going to declare a space as sacred discharge. I'm not creating. I choose Well, I choose to see that turn to dust. You may have your own imaginative things about it, but yeah. Well, anyway, it's up to God. And the human aligned. When you align with what you perceive as God's will through you, bam, power. And it's the power of the divine through us. So I just want to be clear. I'm saying bam, power, but it's to the human that aligns with divine will. So if your inner guidance says no, you don't do it. That's what that means. You don't sneak and do it either. That's bad. That's, once you come to awareness, if you try and do that, it's just, okay, I'll tell you a story. I have something that I've been ruminating over, and it's something personal that happened with someone else, and I kept talking to the guides about it, and they already gave me all the information for me that I needed to know. And, they just said to me, okay, you can continue down this path. And if you do, there will be ramifications. Why is that? Because divine will has already pointed me in a new direction, like from the perspective of my own soul, that's been wrapped up with a bow. And that's me from the human only choosing to not let it go. And say, no, I want to pick apart the wrapping and look back in there. And I already completely resolved it. All my questions were answered. But no, I want to just gnaw on it. Like, my friend Andrea always says, like you're gnawing on a bone, like a dog gnawing on a bone. So I let it go. I let it go because divine will through me, my inner guidance was let it go. And in fact, in my meditation, oh my gosh, in my meditation earlier today, the live that I did, which is on my list of videos, I said there were 4 key things, 4 key aspects of willingness to achieve a state of 5th dimensional presence in the human body on a day-to-day, everyday basis, right? This is how we live every day. If we're going to get to that, we have to understand the concepts. And one of them is, I listed it this morning, the willingness to let go. And essentially the willingness to give it to God. Violet flame over that. That's an energetic tool and technique of transformation. Yeah, I'm going to let it go. Gosh, I'm so glad I'm talking to you guys. Look what I just learned about myself. Okay, so that's a secret for later, that little thing up there in the chart. Okay, this was amazing. Okay, we had 32 high in quality. This is like the clearness of the signal. So if you want to commune with the divine, if you're saying, what's my soul purpose? If you're saying, what do I really want in my life? This is the time. This is the energy. Now, why do I say, okay, it happened between these hours. I didn't figure it out then. It doesn't matter. Okay, you can still access that because this energy on the chart is in wholeness. Essentially, a way of looking at it is that it's in a 5th dimensional state. It's hard for me to just, I would need to take a lot of time to explain that. So I'm just going to say that when you're looking at this, you're essentially looking at a state of wholeness. In each pixel of energy, all the choices of what that represents are available. Because this chart, this energy is not limited to the world of duality like most humans. And the whole thing about that is something that that you'll be able to read in my material as we go along. So just keep following me. We'll keep talking about it. But in this video, I'll just say it and just give you that thumbnail explanation. So basically, here's the deal. That was really big. Sharing that with you. That is big, you guys. My heater's going on and now it's all noisy. Okay, I didn't anticipate that, so sorry about that. All right, so here's the deal, okay? This was extraordinary for it to peak in the quality, the clearness to peak for 4 hours. You can access that at any time now. Just go back in there. Just go back in. You're fine. Just go back into the connection and know it's available for you, okay? And the thing is that this is, I just call it clarity, okay? In my view, in the green, for any of the resonances, the peaks in quality show us getting closer and closer to the truth of what that frequency represents in its pure state of being, its pure natural state of being. So for a human, that would be connected, fully connected with the soul that incarnated here with you, right? That is who you are. Okay, so there's some funky stuff in this chart. I'm going to do a second video because I don't. I'll give you a hint. Okay, that's not usual. That's not usual. I'm gonna do a second video because I want to. This is already at 15 minutes. So I want to keep going here. So we have a lot of power in the human. Now look at everything else. Yellow qualities at 14. White is at 11, red is at 24. Now, 24 has been a power number and quality, but when this resonance has been like the power on the chart, what you saw was not a boop spike to 24. No, you saw it for hours. I mean, if you've been with me in 2021, remember when we looked at that over and over and over and over and over? That was crazy. It went on for weeks, months, and it didn't bust. Okay, and it would dip down periodically, but it was most of the day, and it didn't dip down until the Canadian truckers, you guys rock, pulled into Ottawa. Boom! Blasted the Schumann resonance, blasted the red power back down. And the clearness of that signal, you guys had a phenomenal global effect, the Canadian truckers, and I don't know if you guys are aware of how important what you did was for the rest of humanity. I mean, I'm grateful for you guys and all of you, the families, everybody who was involved in that.